Hello everyone, my name's David Edgar, I'm the host of Heart and Hand Rangers podcast, and I'm joining you today after Rangers drew 2-2 with Motherwell at Fir Park, yet another away day where we don't pick up a victory, and one that I think leaves the manager dangling by a thread. Whether or not you think he's the right man for the job, and I don't think he's going to bring us success long term, but whether or not you agree with me on that, I think the time comes where supporters lose faith in the manager, and today was a perfect example of that. He picked a side that baffled us. I think everyone I spoke to, and I do mean everyone, nobody looked at it and went, that's a really good team. Social media, message boards, the Heart and Hand website all said the same thing. And when a manager does that and then it plays out exactly like supporters said before it would play out, that's when you lose faith totally. Because if we can see it, and we're all amateurs, and we can see it and the professional can't, then what is there for us to cling on to in terms of belief that he'll get it right? He picked a side today that included Kieran Dowell and Cyril Dessers. How many times, how much evidence does he need that these guys can't be in a Rangers team that functions? Now, he said before the match that he had to rest players. We don't have the ability to do that. You're coming off a defeat. You need to win the next game. You're going to a tough fixture. The weather's bad. Pick your best players. Czerny and Igaman were left on the bench, and of course they came off the bench and saved us from what looked like an embarrassment at half-time, single-handedly, in my opinion, dragging us back into the match. And it just seems in the last two games that the manager doesn't learn anything about his players, that he'll continue to try and force players into the side that let us down constantly. And today was another example of that. The back four and Jack Butland were abysmal today, genuinely terrible. And it was really a kind of perfect storm of Rangers errors. First of all, Ridvan puts in a brilliant ball. Dessers should score, he doesn't. And of course, from that first attack, Motherwell go up the park and score. And this was a disaster for Rangers. Again, it's just a simple high ball over the top. Proper misreads it. Butland is again in no man's land. There is a handball from the Motherwell player, but it needs to be apparently in the act of scoring. The fact that he plays a 1-2 with his co-striker means that it's not a handball. And it would have been harsh anyway. He doesn't know anything about it. And he slips it away. Terrible defending, terrible goalkeeping. And we're up against it again and again. There's no creativity from the Rangers side. Nothing at all with the players who were on the pitch that looked as though they might drag us back into it. I feel like I pick on Dowell and Dessers, but again, they're not going to be successful Rangers players. So why are we picking them when we have other options? At half-time, those two went off, inevitably. On came Igaman and Czerny and changed the game, but they had to because we were 2 down by that point. And the second goal again, it's just another high ball in the box. There are 6 Rangers players in the box, 1 Motherwell player, but he's hungrier, alive, and a really good finish from him. Puts them 2-0 up. Rangers get back into it right at the start of the second half. Danilo has a shot that hits the post, comes back out, and Igaman tucks it away. But we got a bit of luck because we could very easily have gone further behind. First of all, a foul on Jack Butland after he's punched the ball into the net from a corner that another referee might not have given. It was one of those ones, I think, if VAR if the ref had allowed it, VAR wouldn't have overturned it and vice versa. But after that, it could have been 3-1, and this was a VAR offside, and it was very fortunate. It was offside, it was the right decision, but we could easily have been 3-1 down, and I don't think we'd have come back from that. We almost immediately did with a brilliant goal from Hamza Agaman. He's a wee star, he's like a shining light in a field of darkness at the moment. And even though we had chances to win the game from there on in, so did Motherwell, there was a vulnerability about the Rangers back line. We didn't manage to go in and get the victory, and again, it's more points dropped. But our away form doesn't change. It's the same constantly. This habit we have of not turning up in the first half in matches. And after a while, you just think, well, if the manager could sort that, he would have. So clearly he can't. And that's kind of where I am at the moment. Now, like I say, you might disagree with me, and that's totally fine. I just wish I had your faith. But for me, I think that we're just delaying the inevitable. So we now go on to 2 very tough games. Celtic at home, Hibs away, and unless we see dramatic improvements from a number of players, particularly in that back line, then it's going to be incredibly tough for us to get anything out of these matches. Pick your best players. We're not good enough not to. And give them a break after an hour, after they go and win the game. Don't put them on at half time. That's not a break for me if they're playing 45 minutes anyway. They play 45 minutes at a frenetic pace because we haven't done enough to go and win the game. Like I say, I'm an amateur, but I do know when a Rangers team isn't functioning, and that Rangers team isn't functioning. So, anyway, have a happy new year if you can. Non-Rangers things related, but I hope you have an enjoyable Hogmanay, and I wish you all the very best for 2025, and I will see you back here at the start of that as we get ready to take on Celtic at Ibrox. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.